Hey there guys, how's it going? It's Afraidnot, and today I've got some The Division going on in the background, and I'm going to be giving you kind of my honest review on the Division beta. Now last weekend, well not last weekend, the weekend before that, I was invited to participate in the beta, and this is a game that I have been highly anticipating, especially for this year. Ever since it was announced, I got really excited when I saw it announced. I think it was announced at E3 2013, something like that, so it's been quite a while in development, and when it first got shown at E3, I got really excited automatically. I thought this looks outstanding, it looks really nice, beautiful looking, and I wasn't wrong there. I mean, when I played the beta, well, let's talk about the single player, I suppose. Let's dive straight into that. So the single player and just everything about the kind of area that you're in, it is beautiful. It is a really nice looking game. It's not quite on Battlefront kind of standards, but it's still a very, very good looking game. I love some of the animation, especially when you're taking cover behind a car that's got its door open, and as you scootle along down the car, the character will actually like put his hand out and shut the car door, and I think little touches like that kind of make it really nice and kind of realistic, so I really like that. But the single player for me was pretty much a single player open world game. It was very generic. It wasn't, they didn't bring anything new to me, well at least they didn't show that in the beta. I need to be really careful, I think, because I think that the single player when it comes out is going to offer a lot more when the game comes out. I know I probably eat my words there, but for what they showed, the single player missions were pretty generic. You know, you go to one place, you clear a load of enemies, get your loot, go to the next place, clear a load of enemies, get your loot. It was kind of rinse and repeat. Every single mission that I played was practically the same, just, you know, sometimes different character models, sometimes they're a little bit tougher. It really wasn't really that varied in different missions, which I don't know if what I can really expect from a single player open world game anymore. I don't know how much more that they can innovate past what they already have. I don't know, it just seemed very generic to me. And what I will say about the loot, because this is predominantly a loot based game, you go around, you get your loot, and hopefully it's better than the stats that you've already got, and you equip it and then you move on. I mean, because it's a third person game, I found every single gun that I used to feel exactly the same, and to me that seems quite boring. When it comes to games like Destiny and Borderlands, and you know, it's a loot driven game, and anytime you get new loot it kind of feels very different, it's very fun to use. There really wasn't, I mean in the guns at all, there wasn't any variety, but even with some of the equipment just wasn't really that fun to use, and I think that Tom Clancy has kind of stuck themselves in a bit of a hole here, because they're trying to go for a realistic look of, you know, a near future New York City, but they haven't managed to capitalize, I think, fun loot. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe the legendary versions, but all they seem to be is that the rare version of like a AK-47. I mean, you can grab the AK-47, it's a normal gun, it shoots in a certain way, but if you picked up a rare, it just seemed to add an attachment to it. It was just like it's an AK-47 with a grip, you know, and it just wasn't really that interesting to me. It really wasn't. It's just a shame really, because games like Destiny, Borderlands, and even Fallout, when you find a really fun gun, like you can shoot someone and it might have, you know, like a legendary version of this gun can then shoot acid, and then you shoot someone and then it splits off and then shoots another load of 6 people just with that one shot. You know, that's fun to use, but I think Tom Clancy have stuck themselves in this hole, whereas yeah, we're trying to be realistic, so therefore the loot is realistic, and realistic to me just probably it isn't fun. It really isn't. So let's talk quickly about the multiplayer, the PvP element of this game. I think that this is where I had the most fun. Now basically you've got this open world game, there's a sectioned area off the map which you can cross. It's like a gate, you cross it, you go into an area which again is like a big open world part, but you've got other players cycling around. Now obviously you can go up to players, and when you aim at them, it says that they're non-hostile. You can either just shoot them or work with them to go and kill AI enemies around the map and things like that. Or, you know, you can go in there and then you can see, you know, people are rogue, and rogue basically means that they've killed another player, so they're showing on the map as rogue, and therefore anyone could kill them basically for free without turning rogue themselves. So that is a really interesting element to PvP for me. I found that it was great, especially playing with friends, and I think that I don't think The Division have really said anything else, but this is really a social game. This is a game that you would go in and play with your friends, and obviously you can do the single player. I call it single player, it's not really, it's kind of, you can co-op as well, you can go in with your friends and do all that bits, but the PvP especially I would go in with a friend, because I played a little bit solo. I didn't have as much fun. I got bored pretty quickly, and I was going around shooting some players, and players were shooting me. And you know, you can take their loot off them, but it's not like you can take everything. They'll drop one thing that they haven't, you know, extracted. And basically, yeah, I mean, when you go in and you shoot some enemy players, and sorry, you go in and you shoot some enemy AI, you can get some loot off that, and then you've got to go to the extraction point and call in a helicopter. It takes a minute and a half to call in, and you've obviously got to defend that little area. Now, players will know that that helicopter's coming in, so you need to really decide really quickly. When you've got players coming up to you who are non-hostile, they can then turn and shoot on you at any time, so you need to be very wary of other players at that point, because they know that you've got loot, or they might be just coming to the extraction point so that they can put their own loot on. So you kind of got that, you know, is he going to shoot me, is he not, kind of element to it. And that is something that I really enjoyed. But I really enjoyed it, especially, as I say, with friends, because you can play very tactically. You know, if you can look at a player, they might want to shoot you, and if they do shoot you, your mate's got your back. You know, it's really fun. And I would probably, if I was to get the game, that's pretty much all I would play. I would play in the Dark Zone, the PvP area, because the single player for me just wasn't that interesting. Going by the beta, obviously, if I got the game, I would play the single player part of it, and if it interests me, I'll stick with it. If I wouldn't, then I would go to the Dark Zone, obviously with some friends. So yeah, I mean, that's really my honest review. I can't really say too much more about it because it was a beta. You only got given really 4 levels. You could go up to level 8, but I think you started on level 4, which I thought was quite ridiculous. So I played everything that there was to play in the beta. That's my general first impression thoughts of it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to giving you a review when the full game comes out. So take care, guys.